In the age of warring states, under the soft petals of a cherry blossom tree, two brothers made a vow. Kenji, the elder, with a steady hand and a kind heart. Kaito, the younger, his eyes burning with a fire to match the rising sun. They trained together, their wooden swords clashing in a rhythm of shared dreams. Together, brother, Kenji would say, we will unite this fractured land. And Kaito would nod, his ambition a sharp, gleaming edge. They promised to forge a new dawn for Japan, a kingdom of peace and prosperity, built on their unbreakable bond. Their names became legend. On the fields of 100 battles, they were an unstoppable force. Kenji, a whirlwind of steel, defending the weak, his every move a testament to his honor. Kaito, a tempest of strategy, his brilliance turning the tide of hopeless fights. We see them, back to back, surrounded by enemies, a sea of steel and fury. Yet, they were an island of calm in the storm, moving as one. Kenji's blade would parry a fatal blow meant for Kaito, and Kaito's spear would clear path for Kenji's advance. Their victories mounted, their legend grew, and the path to unifying the land seemed clear, paved with their shared courage and brotherly love. They were the twin dragons of the north, destined for greatness. And then, greatness arrived. The final warlord fell, and the nation was theirs. Kaito, the brilliant strategist, was crowned emperor. He sat upon the dragon throne, the weight of the crown settling not on his head, but in his eyes. The warmth they once held was gone, replaced by a chilling ambition. He saw enemies in every shadow, dissent in every whisper. He demanded not just loyalty, but absolute, unquestioning control. The dream they had shared began to warp, twisted by the very power they had sought. The cherry blossom promise felt like a distant memory. The breaking point came in a small, remote village. Whispers of rebellion had reached the capital. Kaito, without trial or proof, condemned the entire village. He turned to his brother, the famed General Kenji, and gave the order, execute them all. Let their fate be a lesson to any who would defy me. Kenji looked at the terrified faces of the villagers, farmers, children, elders. He saw not rebels, but his own people, the very people he had sworn to protect. He lowered his sword. I will not, he declared, his voice ringing through the silent square. This is not justice. This is tyranny. The public fallout was immediate and catastrophic. The two brothers, once inseparable, now stood on opposite sides of a chasm created by a crown. Kaito branded Kenji a traitor. Kenji, in turn, became the reluctant leader of a rebellion, a symbol of hope for those crushed under the emperor's iron fist. The land they had bled to unite was once again torn apart, this time by their own hands. A brutal civil war began. The skirmishes were not just battles, they were family disputes written in blood. Kenji's rebels, fighting for freedom, clashed with Kaito's imperial army, fighting for order. Each battle was a painful reminder of their shared past. Kenji would see a tactic he had taught his brother used against his own men. Kaito would recognize a formation Kenji had perfected, now turned against the empire. The green fields of their homeland were stained red. The casualties counted not just in bodies, but in the pieces of their shattered bond. The war raged for years, a bloody stalemate that bled the kingdom dry. It all came down to one final, desperate confrontation. As winter's first snow began to fall, their armies met for the last time. But this was not a battle of armies. It was a reckoning between two brothers. They agreed to a duel to decide the fate of the nation and settle their bitter rivalry. The chosen place was the old burning pavilion, a monument from a previous war, now a fitting stage for their tragedy. The sky was a grim, bruised purple. Snowflakes fell like ash, blanketing the ground in a pristine white that would soon be spoiled. They faced each other, no longer the boys under the cherry tree. They were ghosts of who they once were, their armor scarred, their faces etched with grief and rage. The duel began. It was not a dance of skill and grace like their youthful spars. It was a brutal, visceral clash of survival. Steel screamed against steel. Every parry sent sparks flying into the cold air. Every blow landed with a sickening thud. This was a fight fueled by years of resentment, misunderstanding, and a deep, aching love that had curdled into hate. Why, brother? Kenji gasped, his sword locked with Kaito's. We promised a better world. Kaito's face was a mask of pain. This world demands a firm hand. Your sentimentality is weakness. Their words were as sharp as their blades, each one a cut deeper than any steel could make. Blood sprayed onto the fresh snow, perfect crimson droplets on a white canvas. The fight was a blur of fury and exhaustion. They were too evenly matched, knowing each other's every move, every feint, every weakness. In a final, desperate charge, they ran each other through. Kenji's blade found a gap in Kaito's armor, while Kaito's sword pierced Kenji's side. They stumbled back, clutching their mortal wounds, their swords falling from nerveless fingers to be swallowed by the snow. They collapsed, side by side, just as they had fought so many times before. The rage was gone, replaced by a devastating clarity. The sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, the color of fire and blood. As their lifeblood seeped into the snow, they looked at each other. The cold ambition in Kaito's eyes melted away, revealing the boy Kenji remembered. "The cherry blossoms, they will be blooming soon," Kaito whispered, a bloody tear tracing a path on his cheek. Kenji reached out, his hand finding his brother's. "We were supposed to see them together," he replied, his voice a faint echo. They lay there, two broken halves of a whole, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over a broken kingdom. Their dream of unity was finally achieved, but only in their shared, tragic death. The promise made under the cherry tree was fulfilled at last, but the price was everything. The land was quiet, united only in its mourning for the two brothers who loved each other enough to build a kingdom, and enough to tear it, and themselves, apart. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more epic tales. We'll see you next time.